What is up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and welcome to another video. I was gonna say vlog, man. I'm so out of it, but I am back, and I was thinking about this a while ago. There was a whole bunch of multiverse stuff that came out that I got, and I got it well below the regular retail price, and I didn't really get to talk about it. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna talk about it. Since my second to last video, or a couple videos back, we talked about someone making the claim that the Dick Grayson Batman was the best Mattel Batman ever. Let's talk about something that is the best Mattel figure, one of the best figures ever that Mattel has ever done. These two right here. These two right here. These two are doing what the Black Series, in many cases, has been doing when it comes to bridging the gap between import figures and domestic figures. This has all the articulation that the Mafex Shazam has. He just doesn't have the extra heads and all that stuff. He has extra hands. He doesn't have any effect pieces, but all the detail is there and the articulation is there. I mean, sometimes looking at him, it doesn't feel like a Mattel release. I mean, just look at the pieces. Actually, let me use my pointer. Look at the segments, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, granted, a lot of companies don't do this cut here. Import companies, they'll just put the diaphragm or the lower trunk joint will be down in here in the belt. Still, you get this kind of a feel that this is like a little bit above what you normally get. You know what I mean? His double jointed knees, double jointed elbows, and they don't look funky. Like they're still kind of smooth. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't look bad. The same goes for him. He doesn't have double jointed elbows, but his elbows bend at well past 90 degrees. He comes with multiple heads, multiple hands, and the sculpt work is on point. That looks like Mr. Strong. What is his name? I don't know why I'm blanking on the man's name. His last name is Strong. Why am I blanking? Anyway, looks like the actor. This looks like Levy. Why am I blanking at all these cats' names? Anyway, they look like the actors that they're supposed to look like. Mark Strong. Mark Strong, that's his name. He looks like Mark Strong. He looks like Zach Levy. Or Levi, however you say his last name. I am very impressed with these guys. I have been impressed with them, and I was surprised when I got them that they look as good as they look and that they pose as well as they pose. I'm going to cut to a bunch of images I took of Captain Marvel just being goofy. Some of them featuring Marvel's Captain Marvel, and or I should say Shazam with Captain Marvel. I just have been a fan of Shazam because, you know, I'm a DC since before all this nonsense, you know, so I've always referred to him as Captain Marvel because that's who he is. It's the Marvel family, you know. But the figure is so well done. I mean, like, let me get up close and see if you see that. Look at the detailing on the cape, on the edges of the cape. Look at that. Look at the patterning, the texture on the suit. I mean, it's just, hey, stop that. It's just so well done. Hey, stop that. There's like a sweet spot, and it just doesn't want to do it. Wake up. There you go. Stop it. Oh my God. Why do you have to be so annoying? Anyway, you can see all the coolness that's going on this guy. It's pretty dope. Boots look really good. Are you really doing this nonsense? Please stop. I don't know. Looks great. Looks so great. I was surprised because I was like, huh? And then, you know, the tragedy of this whole thing is that this figure, both of them are peg warming like a mug. They peg warmed the whole time the film was in theaters. They peg warmed super hard, and this is some of Mattel's best work. And it's sad because you can see the sculpt work. Like, I wish I had someone else to show some older Mattel. Give me a second and I'll find someone. Okay, so when you look at this guy over here, looking at Finn Balor, Balor, you just look at how he's made, and this is also Mattel, you know. Look at his parts, you know, and he's supposed to be a real person as well, like a real person. But then look at his parts. Proportions are wonky on this guy. You know, he's got the weird bow legs, which Finn Balor does not have. His body, the torso's a little weird. You know what I mean? There's little things. It looks okay, but I mean, just looking at it, it just looks kind of strange. Then you look at Captain Marvel or Shazam, and you can see all the parts make sense. You know what I mean? Like, he looks pretty legit. Nothing looks weird on him. So I don't know. They did a really great job with him. I'm impressed. I'm super impressed, and I'm surprised that no one talks about him. You know, I didn't see very many reviews. He is peg warming like a mug, like I was saying earlier, and it does not make sense. This is such a good figure. It deserves more attention, so I'm giving him some attention. The same goes for Dr. Savannah. Dr. Savannah is also a near perfect figure as well, and it's surprising because it's from Mattel. I mean, everything about him is well done. Like, I thought with that coat, excuse me, it's late, so I apologize. Kind of back to my old tactics, right? So I figured that with this coat, he would be limited in his movements, you know? The coat is made out of very soft material, so you don't have to worry about it not allowing for you to move. And then he still has a waist swivel. He also has an ab crunch. Double jointed knees. The thigh swivel. He doesn't really have an ankle pivot, whereas Shazam does. But, you know, feet point very well with his pimp shoes. Decent range of motion with his legs. Same thing with his arms. Like I said, more than 90 degrees. And it looks great. So if you want to have him in like a, you know, battle poses, it's really easy to achieve that with him, you know, the way he's built and the way his everything works. I mean, look at that. And I just did that in a couple seconds, you know what I mean? That wasn't even like some big deal. It was just a couple seconds of posing. And look at how cool that looks. So yeah, it's strange to me that people didn't talk about these guys. I mean, look at this. Took him from flying to getting ready to clock somebody. And it looks legit. You know, no issues. So yeah, I'm disappointed in the coverage of a lot of the figures that are out there. People just say, oh, he's boring because he's not some flashy, you know, retro popular character that everybody's into. But he is a popular character that, you know, many old school comic book fans are into. And to have both of them in comic book form, in figure form, doing a good job representing much of their comic book incarnations, like their most recent comic book incarnations, because I mean, everybody who watched the movie knows that many of the cues for this version of Dr. Sivana come from the New 52 version, just like many of the cues that were used for Shazam came from the New 52 version. So these two are worth getting. Don't sleep on them. If you see them, you should get them. They're probably $5 by now. I've seen both of them at Five Below. Pick them up. They're worth it. Shazam is just it's just amazing. And you know me, I love movie figures. And the fact that this guy didn't get the kind of love that he deserved, his movie didn't even get the kind of love that it deserved, even though the movie is one of the best DC EU films so far. It was near perfect as far as, you know, the portrayal of some of most of the characters. The story was well done. The action was well done. I mean, there wasn't really much negative to say about it. The tone was amazing. It was perfect for, you know, a Captain Marvel, you know, with that family kind of focus. But it just was really well done. So I want to move on real quick. So here are some more figures that I had been meaning to talk about that I had never gotten around to. But first, before I do that, I would like to talk about this guy. I meant to talk about him a long time ago, and we're going to talk about him today. Alfred. Now, he comes with a whole bunch of other stuff, but I want to talk about, you know, just a general type of deal. It's not a review, it's just me talking about him and what makes him so awesome and what surprises me about him, too. Articulation-wise, this guy is perfect. There's nothing that he can't do nothing that I need him to do that he can't do. Accessory-wise, he's perfect. He came with like a cup, a little plate, like a metal plate, and he came with a Batman mask. That's perfect, so that when you have him walking around with Batman, and since I have the Ascending Knight and the Sovereign Knight and all that, and I can just have them, you know, with their Bruce Wayne head on, and then have this, you know, this mask on the plate in the background of a diorama, and have Alfred doing his thing. On top of that, the part that blew me away, and I'm surprised that, like, you know, I pointed this out when I was talking about the Mattel Dick Grayson Batman that they made not too long ago, that why is it that the Dick Grayson Batman comes with a Bruce Wayne head, but none of the other Batman figures that they've made come with Bruce Wayne heads? It'll be a separate figure, you know what I mean, that comes with a Bruce Wayne head, which is stupid. The last one I can think of was back in the DC superheroes days, and it might have even been during DCUC when there was like an SDC exclusive where he was like peeling off the mask, and it wasn't even a full Bruce Wayne head, and that's bullshit. Like, it shouldn't be like that. And then in the DC superheroes line, there was like a Bruce Wayne to Batman figure, and I remember he had the unmasked head. But anyway, this guy comes with 3 different Alfred heads. It's amazing. The 89 Alfred Go, and then the 66, I don't remember the actor's name, but the 66 Batman Alfred, as well as the comic book Alfred. And then they threw in this weird one from the New 52. I think he was called the Stranger Danger. So, like, yeah, if you really wanted to have, you know, finish your whole Forever Evil setup, they gave you a Stranger head, and it's well done. I mean, this almost feels like a DC Direct release or DC Collectibles release, but he's just so well done. I mean, this face sculpt, I mean, what the hell? This is the Alfred I was reading about in all the Jim Aparo comics. Even Jim Lee draws this Alfred. This is like the classic Alfred, and I love it. It's so well done. I'm just surprised that he didn't get more attention, you know what I mean? And he has double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, nice ankle pivot, you know, it's just what's needed, as well as, you know, the point. He's not like super ridiculously posable because Alfred is not necessarily a dynamic character, you know, but he's more posable than what's necessary. And it's crazy because it's been a while since we've had an Alfred, you know? The only other Alfred that I have was from the Hush series, the Jim Lee Hush style Alfred. And again, he's got that, you know, that face, that head. I mean, he's got less hair. But, I mean, they really did the damn thing. I'm impressed, you know? I'm super impressed. I didn't think we would ever get such a cool rendition of the character, and we did. And it's really worthwhile. I really dig it, you know? And he looks cool with whichever Batman you want to put him with. Of course, the time that I'm reviewing him, none of my Batman figures are close by. It's fucking ridiculous. But, you know, let's just give Alfred the limelight, you know? But he really looks good. I was impressed through and through. Thank you, Action Figure Addict 112. He helped me get this guy. Because I've probably seen him out in the wild one time, and I wasn't looking for it. It was a time when I was not looking for him, you know? But yeah, he is a really well done figure. I am super impressed, and it's about time. Why did this take so long? It's crazy how, like, at the tail end of Mattel's run, they started doing things that made sense. Now, months ago, I did tell you guys about some good fortune I had when I came across a wave of figures at Target for $5 a pop. And I was super surprised because I didn't think that I would ever, you know, I don't normally get good deals when it comes to, you know, finding my figures out in the wild. But I did this time, and it made me really happy. Now, all of these figures are awesome except for Batman. He's whack. He's so whack. He has some cool things on him, but he's fucking whack. I was not, like, I didn't really want him. So if anyone's interested in him, let me know. It's not like you can't find him peg warming like a motherfucker at, you know, Target. But the main reason why I got this is because I wanted to get the Build-A-Figure. And the Build-A-Figure was really awesome. Also, I've always wanted a quality Vixen figure. And I figured two things. Never had the Ray, and I missed out on so many other versions of this figure. So I was like, you know what? I'll get this. And for $5, I spent $20 on the whole wave. You know what I mean? Like, shit, who's going to pass that up? So, yeah, I made sure I checked and checked and checked and made sure I wasn't tripping. Paid the $20, got them, got all of them, and then put this bad boy together. Lex Luthor in his super suit from, I want to say it was, it was the New 52. I can't remember what the specific comic was, but the idea was cool just to, I think it was Lex Luthor's Superman. Or Man of Steel, something like that. But I've always wanted this costume. We found the Imaginext version for Little Strident, and I was like, you know what? If they ever make one for, you know, the big boys, I'm going to pick that one up. And it's a well-done figure. All of these have pretty decent articulation. You would think, looking at him, that, like, all these things would get in the way, but, like, nothing really gets in the way. He's just real posable. And once you lock him up, the parts don't fall out. So I was impressed with how they did things with this guy, you know? Like, it doesn't feel like a standard Mattel release. Even the look of the figures. I can't remember what the name of the sculptor was, but I remember him he was on Twitter around the time that this came out. And they were saying, like, they were showing how he had other things planned, I think. He had done other sculpts, and he got let go. And like so many people got let go along with this wave. So as they were phasing out this whole thing and getting rid of, you know, the division that handles DC related multiverse stuff, they got rid of the sculptor. And you look at these guys. I mean, like, look at Vixen. Look at how she's black. Like, they didn't even try to, like, change anything. They didn't try to make her not look black. Look at that beautiful hair. Look at the features and everything. She's pretty, but she's black. You know what I mean? They didn't try to go in the super hyper realistic to the point where they look kind of gross. You know, you get that with some of the way that black figures are handled. It's like their skin is too shiny, or the plastic is too shiny, or they overdo the lips, and then they don't accentuate any of the features that are you know, beautiful. They accentuate all the stuff just to say they have thicker lips, they have bigger, you know, higher cheekbones, but I don't know, whatever it is, it's always done in a way that's too exaggerated and not on point. This is on point. And then she's thick. I was like, yes, this works. This works. Jon Stewart would be very proud. So she was the main get for me. And then, Lex Luthor, who appears to be, mourning Superman or trying to fill the void of Superman, and Steel. For some odd reason, Steel is always so absent from a lot of that New 52 stuff. But anyway, he's taken a page out of Steel's book only to reveal that, a leopard doesn't change his spots, and, he's just evil. But these guys were well done. This Batman, as much as I hate him, cloth cape, and it's not that cheapo material that you normally see. It's this faux kind of leather, which I like. I was surprised about that. Then in the belt, there are little knives, and the knives are all removable. I was super surprised because I didn't even think they would try to do something like that. Hopefully you can see that. So these tiny little knives. He can't hold them, though. I mean, you have to put them like in between his fingers or something to, to get him to hold them. And he does come with fists because he was a hell of a boxer, if you've seen the animated film. So, for me, it's just another Batman. But there's lots of little details on him. This was never my favorite story. I'd never liked this story that much. Even as a kid, I was like, it's okay. Don't like this costume that much. It's very plain. I do like the cape or cloak. I think that's cool. But yeah, that's Batman. But Wonder Woman, of course, is the New 52 or Rebirth design. She looks really cool. I've seen figures of hers where this figure where the chest or torso portion was a different color from her legs and arms. Mine doesn't have that issue for some odd reason. Stand up, Batman. Stop being a chode. Jesus Christ. Mine doesn't have that issue. She looks good. Everything is uniform. I mean, let me put her closer. She doesn't feel two-tone. You know what I mean? She feels like one tone as you move throughout the costume. I mean, her arms might be a little bit darker, and that could also be the light. I think it is more the light than anything else, but it's a really well done figure. I was surprised, really surprised at how she turned out. She came with a shield, I think a sword and a shield, and yeah, I like her. I like these boots, man. These are pretty cool. Super Gal Gadot, though, like no matter what they say, that's 100% inspired by the film. But all in all, worthwhile. Look at the Ray real quick. He's pretty cool too. I remember when he first showed up in comics in the 90s. He's actually pretty cool looking. Always dug him. Dug his power set, I think he has light-based powers. And then he's also one of the first... Is he one of the first? He's one of the few gay main superheroes. You don't see him that much, but I want to say recently they used him, a few years back, they used him in Arrow, and they used him in an Arrow animated film called The Freedom Fighters. So it's kind of cool. You're getting variety in this, but this design is just simple. Obviously, it's just a body with paint, but the jacket's well done, and this is the look. You know what I mean? This is pretty much the look, but his posability is what it's just. I was like, okay. I mean, look at that. It's pretty decent. And then he doesn't bend more than his arms don't bend more than 90 degrees. Does have a nice ab crunch. That works really well. Range of motion in the legs are really nice. Double jointed knees. He's well done, You can really get him in some dynamic, flying poses and stuff. That's actually really wrong. You got to put this one back. That looks better. Look up, boy. There you go. He looks really good. I was really geeked when I saw this. I was like, man, this is dope, you know? Looks really cool. So yeah, I was geeked about this. It's another wave that didn't get a lot of attention simply because they're not the most popular bunch. And then also it's a multiverse wave. And you know, multiverse, it's Mattel. They've been kind of shitting the bed when it comes to the multiverse line. And it's understood. It's understood, it's understandable that people aren't geeked when they see these. You know what I mean? Like there's those people who are always geeked no matter what. But most diehards or most longtime DC fans and such, we know better. We're not going to get excited over a multiverse line because they're typically poorly done. These ones here were better done, but it was too little too late, you know? A lot of the last couple waves of multiverse were on the better side of the equation, but, you know, it is what it is. But these were a few of the ones that I picked up, and I think they're pretty awesome figures. I'm really happy to have them. I also feel like these are all, I need to put Shazam out there. These are all figures that did not get the attention that they deserve, you know? Where should I put him? We'll put him right here, closer. Overshadow Lex Luthor, because Lex Luthor is a douche. And then we'll put Dr. Savannah a little bit closer. Yeah, but they all didn't get the attention that they should get, mainly because they're DC characters. Also because, you know, people were focused on... Yeah, that looks good. Look at me with these this composition right here. Right here. Let me move him closer, and there you got it. There it is. But yeah, they deserve some time in the spotlight, you know? Not so much the Gotham by Gaslight Batman. He's pretty damn whack. Let's get him the fuck out of here. Get out of here. But the rest of them are pretty awesome. There you go. Give the Ray some space. Give you some space, and then we'll move you right there. And it was just, I don't know. It's strange to me when figures don't get the attention that they deserve, you know, because you 50 billion, you know, Batman releases and everyone gets a shit ton of attention, you know, but then you look at other characters that don't usually get releases and no one says anything, and it's a bigger deal because those characters don't normally get the attention. They don't normally get represented, and you know, here they are being represented. You need that, you know, you need that variety, and here we have that variety, and I'm glad that they gave us that. So I figured, you know, my job is always to kind of do what's not being done. So there you have it. So anyway, that's going to be probably the last time I talk about new Mattel stuff, because they're not doing DC anymore, or DC, I'm sorry, anymore. Yeah, if I do talk about DC stuff, I'm going to be going back to give props and shed light on some older DC stuff, DC-oriented stuff, like DC figures that I just love, because even though I don't have the whole collection, I have my favorites from the collection, and there's a couple that I still haven't spoken about that I need to, like the Doomsday. I got that Doomsday courtesy of ODC That's Me. He hooked me up, and I really need to review that figure because it's an awesome figure. And he's been sitting in the corner for so long. What's been 3-4 years, 5 years now, something like that, maybe 4 years. I need to review that figure. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And that's it for me. You guys have been great. Peace outside.